All right, welcome guys to the NBA live stream. We got playoffs finally here, or well, the play-in game, if you consider that playoffs. But yeah, super excited to talk about this two-game slate. So if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. What we'll do is we'll take a look at what we know so far for injuries, take a look at the Vegas odds for each game, and then I'll go team by team, talk about players I like, and get to questions at the end. So let's start off with what we know so far. So Sumner and Holiday are both game time decisions for Indiana. Neto is probable, most likely playing. Unfortunately for the Pacers, LeVert out 10 to 14 days with for health protocols. He's not playing today. Let's see. Brogdon, game time decision. Sabonis will play, expected that. Sumner and Aaron Holiday, both game time decisions. And yeah, Brogdon expected to play in 5 to 6 minute stints if he's cleared. That's not good. So, yeah, and again, we're still waiting on Holiday. We're still waiting on Sumner. So the Pacers news is the big news we were waiting on. So hopefully we get that before the end of this live stream, because that will change some things. What's going on, guys? Beal to the moon. I think Beal looks good today. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's risk to that hamstring, but I think Beal looks better than Westbrook. So, let's see. Let's take a look at these Vegas odds. Again, we got Hornets and Pacers at 225.5 over under. The Pacers are 1.5 point favorites, and the Wizards and the Celtics at 232.5 over under. The Celtics are 2-point favorites. So, let's start off with Charlotte and Indiana. And that last game, in a must-win game for the Hornets, or a game that they went all out, they basically ran a 7-man rotation. Monk played a couple minutes. Biyombo played a couple minutes. So, unless something weird happens here, I don't expect these guys to really be in the rotation, that being Biyombo and that being Monk. So, both those guys are out of play for me. And that leaves it with a 7-man rotation of Zeller, McDaniels, Graham, Bridges, Washington, Rozier, and LaMelo Ball. And let's get to my favorite play on the Hornets, Cody Zeller. 36 and 30 minutes last couple games. Yeah, whether or not he starts, I think if he starts, I feel better. If he comes off the bench, I still think he's viable. I assume we get similar minutes here, right? Wizards were not like, I guess they have a traditional center out there, but the Pacers have Sabonis, so I don't think the Hornets really going to go small in this one. Yeah, Zeller, there's not a lot of really good center plays in the slate. We know Zeller's a good point per minute guy. Assuming we get those 30 minutes, unless the Hornets just troll us, I like Cody Zeller a lot here for value. So he's one of the better value plays on the board. And going up from there, McDaniels, I think, is also a fair value play. 32, 40, 28 minutes the last 3 games. I'm expecting around 30 minutes from him, a guy that can do the peripheral stats. And yeah, there's not a ton of great value. So both Zeller and McDaniels, I kind of like here for the Hornets. Now, with the rest of the Hornets, all 5 of these guys have upside. With Graham, Bridges, Washington, Rozier, and LaMelo Ball. The issue is trying to figure out which one it's going to be. Because all 5, like I said, have upside, but all 5 have been very, very up and down. So starting with Graham at 6'1", 2 of the last 4 games, 46 and 42 fantasy points. The other 2, 15 and 23 and an 18 in there. So what do we get from Devontae Graham? I have no idea. He should play about 30 minutes. It's whether or not, is he hitting his shots? Is the production there? Right? He's been very, very up and down. But for someone in this price range, in the 6K price range, the upside is 40 plus that we know. So I do like Graham for GPPs. I think with Bridges in Washington, pretty similar place. I think Washington may have the slightly higher floor, I guess, with the peripheral stats, whereas I think Bridges may have the slightly higher ceiling. He's gone for 46 and 45 in 2 of the last 4 games. Again, though, a 27 and 29 in there. Like I said, all these Hornets guys have been up and down with their production. And then Rozier versus LaMelo Ball. Rozier, he should play about 40 minutes, and we've seen a couple 50 bombs from him. Whereas LaMelo, that was a must-win game against Washington. He only played 33 minutes. So I don't know if that changes much here. Again, they needed to win that game. They didn't. He played 33 minutes. So, can he play more than that? Probably not. Maybe a minute or 2 more. So LaMelo Ball obviously is a guy that can go out and get you a triple-double. But for me, I think I prefer the discount on Rozier because I think he plays more. And we've also seen the ceiling on Rozier recently as opposed to LaMelo Ball. So that is kind of my thoughts there with the Hornets. They're in my opinion, the trickiest team to nail down the slate because, we have the value guys with Zeller, McDaniels, and they look pretty solid, but the rest of the top 5 guys have all been so up and down that it almost feels like a guessing game. So I think like kind of build your lineup out, and then what you have left over from maybe one of those main Hornets guys, 1 or 2 guys, just kind of go with that, right? I don't know if I'm really prioritizing any of the main Hornets. I think you kind of just go with what fits into your lineup. Now, on the Pacers side, it's a little bit different. I am prioritizing Domantas Sabonis. There's absolutely no way I'm fading him. Favorite play in the slate, and it's not close. No LeVert. Brogdon, if he's going to play, is going to be limited. I just don't see how you get away from Sabonis. I don't care that he's 10K. He's going to play 45 minutes. He's going to run the point a good amount, honestly. He'll go for a triple-double most likely, and he's way cheaper than Westbrook. And it's a better matchup. I absolutely love Sabonis. There's no way I'm fading him today. He should be the highest owned player in the slate. There's absolutely no way I'm fading him. Okay, so we did just get news. This is going to be tricky. Oh, this is going to be tricky. So Brogdon, Aaron Holiday, and Sumner all in. Okay. That throws a wrench into things. So, Sabonis, that doesn't change. I still love Sabonis. The rest of the Pacers, now it's going to get tricky, right? Because all those guys are in. Oh, boy. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup. So Brogdon himself at 8.7K. If they stay true to their word and he plays 5 to 6 minute stints, I think he probably gets 25 to 30 minutes. That would be a fair guess. The Pacers could be lying. They could troll us and Brogdon could play 40 minutes. I just don't know if the risk is worth it on this slate. So for me, I'm probably going to stay away from Brogdon. If the Pacers troll us and they play him 40 minutes, then you're going to see me very tilted tonight. That's all I can say. So for me, I just don't think it's worth the risk going to Brogdon with that limitation. All right, the rest of the Pacers now. So with Brogdon in and Aaron Holiday in and Sumner in, that means less minutes for McConnell, right? He's played a ton with some injuries. I think we probably only get about 25 minutes off the bench now for McConnell. So for me, he's now a secondary play at that price. I prefer other players at the price. Brissett, also a secondary play at 5.4. I think he loses some minutes with those two guys in. So not as excited about Brissett. Justin Holiday and McDermott now become riskier, right? These are two guys you could feel confident in playing 30-ish minutes of both Aaron Holiday and Sumner are out. Now they're both in. So I think they lose minutes and they become riskier. And then finally, the two guys are now in, Aaron Holiday and Sumner. We'll see if they do the starting lineup. I would guess Sumner starts because he had been starting previous games. If he does start here, the minutes, you're not going to feel good because he won in that stretch where he played like 3 straight games, and 3 straight games he left due to that knee injury. So there's obviously risk here. But if he starts, we probably get 20 minutes from Sumner, maybe a little bit more. So I think he's viable because of the really cheap price point. Aaron Holiday most likely comes out the bench. I'm not sure the minutes for him, so he becomes a pretty big risk. And then, guys like Goga and Keelan Martin, I think, are now out of the rotation, right? Because now let's just take a look at the rotation here for the Pacers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Holiday, 8 Sumner. Not sure if Keelan Martin or Goga play now. Keelan Martin might, but I think there's a chance he gets a DNP. Again, this is just tricky now with the Pacers because, are Sumner and Holiday going to be limited? Yeah, it's a tough one for the Pacers. It is. But, all right, so let's move on to the Wizards and the Celtics. About halfway through, guys, if you could leave a like button, we're at 239 viewers and only 35 likes. So let's try to reach 100 likes before the end of the show. I'll get to questions at the end. Let's talk about now the Wizards and the Celtics. Again, with Westbrook versus Beal, just give me Beal all day long. I don't care about the hamstring. Obviously I care. It's a 2-game slate, though. You got to take risks, right? And he's 9K. There's just I can't play Westbrook, right? You can't play Westbrook on the slate. There's not enough value. You're sacrificing too much. There's stars that look way better. Give me Sabonis all day long over Westbrook. Give me Tatum all day long over Westbrook. There's absolutely no way I'm playing Westbrook over those two unless you're trying to get really different in large field stuff. Optimal build-wise, you can't consider Westbrook on the slate. Brad Beal is the guy I prefer. He's $3,400 cheaper. And again, I know the hamstring risk, but look at this, okay? He shot 8 of 27 last game and went for 40 fantasy points. So must-win game, right? He's going to play all the minutes he can. He's probably going to get close to 40. Yeah, I do like Beal a good amount. I know the risk is there. It's a 2-game slate, though. You got to take risks. Rui Hashimura, no thanks at 5K. Secondary play, probably not for me. Now, Neto is in. This makes Ish Smith now not look as good. Neto himself, assuming he starts, I think is a fair play. We probably get 25 to 30 minutes out of him, so fair value. Bertans, again, maybe loses a couple minutes too. Let me just say this. All right, there's no standout value on the slate. There isn't. So if you're going to ask me like this value versus this value, I'm not going to have a lot of strong takes in the value. You just got to hope the guys you land on don't really kill you. And if you play Westbrook, that's why I don't think it makes sense, because then you probably have to play at least a couple like cheap guys, and it's just not the same slate, right? The rotations for all these teams are going to trim down. There's not a lot of value you can feel good about. So Bertans, yeah, he's one of the guys you can consider. He's reliant in the scoring, playable. Ish Smith also downgrade now. I think maybe instead of 25 to 30 minutes, he only plays about 20 to 22. Still playable. But again, downgrade him. The center rotation, oh boy. If Len starts, then it's going to be a 3-headed monster of Len, Gafford, and Lopez. They're going to go with the hot hand. Gafford's the best point per minute guy. I think if I'm going to pick one to take a shot on, it would be him. I also think, though, he'll be the most popular. Again, it could be Lopez. It could even be Len, even though he only played 5 minutes last game. Now, Len did get benched. If they start Gafford, I love Gafford. And if they start Gafford, then I think Len's out of the rotation. And then I actually really like Gafford and Lopez for value. I think you could even play both the centers together. Because I think if Len doesn't start, again, this is a slim chance. But if they do start Gafford, I think Len gets the DNP. And then Gafford, Lopez become really good value plays. And that's it. That's all I got for the Wizards. Moving on to the Celtics. So real quick, let's see. Do we have any starting lineup news for the Pacers? Nope, just that they're... So, Aaron Holiday available to play. I'm just... we'll see how they do the starting lineup. That just makes it uneasy feeling for me. But, all right, Celtics, I think they're my favorite team to target here. I really like Boston today. Tatum, I think, is one of the... I think Tatum and Sabonis are the safest spend-ups on the board. Tatum's going to play 40 minutes. He's priced below 10K. Obviously, no Jaylen Brown. Really like Tatum in both formats. And I absolutely love Kemba Walker here at 7.3K. One of my favorite plays in the slate. This is just way too cheap for Kemba. I know, he can be a little bit up and down, but like floor, really, we've seen like mid-30s fancy points. He's going to play close to 40 minutes. He's got to be the number 2 in offense behind Tatum. It's a fantastic matchup. I absolutely love Kemba Walker here. Again, one of my favorite plays in the slate. I think Fournier is firmly in play as well. The only thing I'm slightly worried about with Fournier is I think he's going to be the most popular play in the slate. I disagree. I'd rather get to Tatum. I'd rather get to Kemba for a little bit more. Now, I get why Fournier is going to be popular, right? He's small forward and shooting guard eligible, and I think he is a really solid play. I just think he might be slightly over-owned here, so I still like Fournier, but again, I think he might be a little bit over-owned. And then Marcus Smart, I think, is flying under the radar here. He's going to play close to 40 minutes, all right? And he's a guy that can do the peripheral stats. They need him out there on defense. I do kind of like Marcus Smart here. If everyone's going to go to Fournier over Marcus Smart, I don't mind using Smart as a contrarian pivot off of Evan Fournier at a similar price. And then with the 2 centers, Robert Williams and Tristan Thompson, we don't know the status of Robert Williams. Like, how is he going to start? Is he going to be on a limit? If he starts, I think we probably get a pretty even split with him and Tristan Thompson, and then I would give the edge to Robert Williams, who's the better point per minute guy. You never know, though. They could limit him. So at the moment, both centers more secondary plays here with Robert Williams and Tristan Thompson. And the bench, I'm just not considering. You don't have to go to Pritchard. You don't have to go to Naismith on this one. No. They are not necessary on this 2-game slate. So, all right, that is what I got, guys. We got about 10 minutes left for some questions. Again, Pacers news, we need to see what they're doing with the starting lineup, right? For guys like Sumner, guys like Aaron Holiday, is Brogdon going to start? That makes the slate tricky. That makes the slate tricky with those Pacers guys. All right, guys, 300 viewers, 63 likes. If you're coming in, leave a like button. Again, let's try to aim for 100 before the end of the show. All right, how many minutes for Ish Smith? I think about 20. I think about 20-ish minutes for Ish. Now, you never know, right? He actually has been playing well. Maybe he could play a little bit more. So I think a fair guess is about 20. Beal or Tatum. Tatum is more higher floor for sure, right? He's not dealing with a hamstring injury. So safety-wise, it's definitely Tatum. Love how Beal, Tatum playing each other. Went to the same high school, yeah. Ford, 4.4K and below for cash. Yeah, see, I'm not going to have super strong takes here. I think this is just kind of like, I think you got two options right now in McDermott and Bertans. I'm not considering Naismith. I'm not sure if Keelan Martin plays. If Sumner starts, you can play him. But right now it's either Bertans or McDermott, and they're basically identical plays to me. Best value besides Washington centers, DK? There's really not, right? I think this is just a slate where it's like you got to hope the value plays don't kill you. I like Zeller for the Hornets. I think McDaniels is also a pretty safe play there. But below that, with the Pacers, there's a lot of question marks right now. So that's where some of the value is in guys like possibly Sumner, Aaron Holiday, McDermott, Justin Holiday. We just got to see what the starting lineup's going to be. You know, how limited actually is Brogdon going to be, right? There's a lot of question marks. So, right, it's nothing I feel good about right now. There's nothing I feel good about. Thoughts on Brissett? Probably not for me at that price. Ish Smith, Smart, Justin Holiday, Tatum, Sabonis, Walker, Rui, Daniel Gafford. Might be a little bit too contrarian for me. Kemba, McDaniels, or Fournier and McConnell. It's Kemba and McDaniels for me. Because McConnell, we just don't know what the minutes going to be like for Brogdon, right? And also Aaron Holiday's in too. That's another point guard. We might only get like 25 minutes on McConnell. So, yeah, it just... The Brogdon being in news really threw, and both Sumner and Holiday really throws a wrench into things. Neto, Sumner, Beal, Smart, Rui, Holiday, Sabonis, Tatum, Zeller. Again, honestly, I don't love the Rui play. Thoughts on O'Shea? A little bit too pricey for me. I want Ish. I wish Ish would get 20 to 25, but you're probably right. The thing is, though, again, there's like he is still viable because you got guys that are, you know, in that range that are probably only going to play like 15 to 20-ish minutes. So I'm still okay going to Ish Smith. I still have interest in him. I just think it's a downgrade of Neto and Sabonis, Rozier, Ball, Zeller, Bridges. I mean, I like those guys. I basically just put my weekly check on Ish Smith going off. It's like I still think Ish Smith is fine, right? I think he probably still plays about 20 minutes. If he plays well off the bench, they might extend him over Neto, right? He was getting like 18, 22, 19, 19, right? So these are like those are. I think we get about 20. I think we get about 20 minutes from Ish Smith. Still playable. Top fade Westbrook. Tatum's legacy is on the line tonight. He should show. Yeah, I liked it. Tatum and Sabonis, I think, are the safest spin ups on the board. I think those two you play in cash games. I basically just put, okay, what do you think of Westbrook, Sumner, McDaniels, Sabonis, Tristan Thompson, Ball, Grant Williams, and Lopez? Nope. Don't play Grant Williams. You're sacrificing too much with Westbrook in there. I don't think you play him. What do you think of, okay, I already wanted that. Tori, the $5 super chat, thank you. So Kemba, Brad Beal, McDaniels, Sabonis, Zeller, Ish, McDermott, and Smart. I think that looks pretty solid. I like the guys you got in there. You know, you don't have Tatum, which is the only, I guess, you know, downside. But you can't get everyone, right? So I see no issue with that. I don't. Like, you know, you got some somewhat questionable guys, but, like, there's guys you're just not going to feel good about, right? Like, Ish and McDermott, there's obviously risk with both. But everything else looks fine. And again, you have to play a couple of those alley guys. So, yeah, I have no issue with it. Thoughts on Rozier, Beal, Sumner, Sabonis, Zeller, Kemba, Bertans, and Gafford for tournaments? I think that looks pretty good, too. For the big DK tournament, Kemba, Smart, Beal, PJ Washington, Gafford, LaMelo, Sumner, Robert Williams. Okay, that looks good, too. Smart and Zeller or Kemba and Gafford. I'll go the second one that's close. My single lineup I'm making doesn't have any Wizards right now. I could see that happening, right? Because Westbrook could have a good game, but maybe not good enough where he's a must, right? Maybe he only goes for like 60 to 65, and then maybe Beal only goes for about 40. And yeah, I could see, I think if you were to fade one team tonight, it probably is the Wizards. I agree with that. How many points does Westbrook have to hit for the price? Where it depends on the value, right? So it doesn't even depend really on Westbrook and how many points he gets. It depends on how well the really cheap guys do. Because if all the cheap guys bust, then you're going to need an absolutely massive game out of Westbrook, right? If like all the guys below 4K have terrible games and like no one gets above like 10 to 12 fancy points, then you're going to need like 80 plus from Westbrook, right? You're going to need an absolutely massive game, because if you play him, then it forces you onto those cheap guys. And if none of the cheap guys do well, then you're going to need an enormous game. Now, if some of the cheap guys actually do get there, then maybe you only need like 65 to 70 from Westbrook. DK, you don't think it's leverage to risk playing Westbrook tonight, seeing as how no one will play him? He's still going to be owned. I still think he'll be like 30%. I just think it's sacrificing too much on this slate to get him in. Monk will play tonight. He only played 5 minutes in a must-win game last game, so no. Graham or Fournier, I already have Smart and Kemba. See, that's a tricky one, right? I think Fournier might be the slightly safer play, but for GPPs, I don't mind going to Graham. Hornets going to be the key to the slate, 2 to 3 of them. Yeah. The issue with the Hornets is they're all been up and down. Brogdon or Ball, I wouldn't play Brogdon. So Ball, not worth playing. Ish Smith, now or Peyton Pritchard. I think Ish Smith is still fine. He's just not as good of a play, and I wouldn't play Pritchard. Brogdon playing 5 minutes, Spence. Let's see. 3 Celtics too much? No, I think that's fine. I love the Celtics are probably my favorite team. Coach said he's playing in 5 minute spurts. Yep. What's Beal's percentage on DK? I don't think Beal's going to be too high. Basically need Westbrook to put 80 in. Yeah, so you need a big game from Westbrook, and then you need the value to be really good. If the value bust here, which I feel like a good amount of the value will bust, then you're going to need an even bigger game from Westbrook. 30%. Yeah, that's... Again, I didn't even look at ownership. That was just a guess. Brogdon, the showdown slate viable. Depends how many minutes you think he plays. If you think the Pacers are trolling us, and he's going to play 40 minutes, then of course. I can't see him really playing more than 30 minutes, but we'll see. Kemba, Smart, Beal, Sabonis, Gafford, Terry, Sumner, and Lopez. I'm good with that. It is a little more stars than scrubs, but I'm okay with that. Best small forward play under 3,500. I think it's got to be Sumner, right? I think he's 3,400. Yeah, it's Sumner. There's no one else that's in consideration. LaMelo or Rozier for showdown. It's a tricky one, right? I think Rozier plays more. I might have the slight edge to Rozier. Patrick with a $10 super chat. Thank you, man. Good luck, TK, and I appreciate you taking your time to help us become better DFS players. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, GPP, Kemba, Brad Beal, McDaniel, Sabonis, Zeller, Smart, Rui, and Robin Lopez. I think it's solid. The only thing, Rui's just not a guy I love. Like, he's not out of play. But the 5K price doesn't really stand out. But I guess, yeah, he's going to play like 35 minutes. So that's, like, fine. I don't love the Rui play, but as the last piece in, that's fine. Everything else looks good, right? Lopez, obviously, it's like, what are the minutes going to be like? We don't know. But, like, again, you got to play some values. McConnell fade, I think he's more of a secondary play for me. Ish Smith a good play. He's viable. A smart back, does it affect Fournier's upside? Not really. I just think Fournier's going to be more popular. Sumner-ish, we'll see what the Pacers do with the starting lineup. If Sumner starts, I think it's basically coin flip. If Sumner doesn't start, I think I prefer Ish. If Gafford starts, do you like Gafford? Yeah, I would Gafford roll over Zeller. Well, the thing is, we're probably not going to get that news, right? And Zeller right now is one of my favorite value plays, so if Gafford starts, I'm playing Gafford. I'll just say that. And then I like Lopez more too. Sumner or fade. We'll see what they do the starting lineup. Miles Bridges or PJ for the showdown. Again, I don't really have a take on that. I think PJ maybe have a slightly higher floor. Bridges have a slightly higher ceiling. I feel like Brogdon being thrown back in the mix makes Indiana even worse. It makes it tricky, right? It does make it tricky. We don't know. Yes, he's going to play in 5 to 6 minute stints, but okay, what if he plays 5 to 6 minute stints and sits for a minute or two and then comes back in and he ends up playing actually 40 minutes or plays 35 minutes? I guess it's possible. Bertans and Justin Holiday or McDaniels and Ish. Right? It just kind of I don't have a take. I guess gun to my head, give me the second one, but that's not anything I feel confident in. Beal or Tatum for tournaments. I think Tatum is much safer and looks like the optimal play. If you have the salary, it's Tatum. I think it's Tatum, but I still kind of like Beal. I just think there's a lot more risk involved with Beal. Hope Gafford doesn't start. I think comes on the bench. Yeah, I mean, Gafford, the thing is, like, even if he only plays 15 minutes, he could still be in the optimal lineup time because there's, like, no value. Rui and Fournier going to break the slate and mess with us. LL. Thoughts on Goga Patazde? I'm not sure if he plays. Not sure if he plays. Justin Holiday or McDermott. We'll see what they do the starting lineup. I think they're basically the same play. Pacers lineup is out. Okay, let's see. We'll go over this, and then I will get out of here. So what do we got? I'm guessing Sumner's in it. No. Okay. Brogdon, Justin Holiday, McDermott, Brissett, and Sabonis. See, I'm just worried now about Sumner and Aaron Holiday, right? Because available to play, how much do they play? They're not starting. Sumner has been starting in all these games, so now I'm a little bit worried there. That's the big question mark. The Pacers are the big question mark. I feel like we're going to get trolled here. But, yeah, so now I think Justin Holiday and McDermott are still playable, and Sumner and Aaron Holiday off the bench have a lot more risk involved. So it's a question of, are you willing to take that risk with those two guys? We don't know how many minutes they're going to play. With Brogdon starting, and I think McConnell plays the backup point, and whenever Brogdon's not out there, McConnell's out there. So I think we probably get about 25 minutes for McConnell. The rest of the minutes kind of up in the air, right? So tricky one here at the Pacers. Tricky one, but that's going to do it for me, guys. Good luck. Appreciate everyone coming to check out the live stream. I'll be back here tomorrow to break down the 2-game slate on Wednesday. So I'll see you guys all then, and appreciate all the super chats as well.